Good evening, race fans. Urban Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV, and what an absolute doozy of a race have we got for you this evening. It is round 4 of the European Open GR3, and this has got more and more popular as the weeks go by. So popular, in fact, this evening that we had more people subscribed to the race than we had spaces for. Sorry, TJ, you couldn't stay in with us. We had to prioritise those who have previously raced in the lobby. Big quick dig to Wiggy. You didn't sign in, mate, and nearly lost your place. Technically, by the letter of the law, we shouldn't let you race, but we did because we love you. And that's pretty much it. Everyone's going to jump out and jump back in, ready to start. I'm going to change my car if I want to tick in. That would probably be a useful idea, wouldn't it? Of course, that's the only one. Tick in, tick back out again, because obviously I'm not racing. So, let's have a quick look. See, we're about to start qualifying. Fastest man so far has been not Grizz Troopers. He's quick, but he's not that quick. Simonis, actually, I think, yeah, he's got the fastest lap with a 1:53.7. So, let's have a quick look at the current league standings. So, boom. There we go. That is where we currently stand. We're on round 4. We're at... we're not at Barcelona. We're in Germany at the Nürburgring GP. Wendigo currently in the lead. 66 points. Avalon in second, 56. BFeR 46 in third with 52 points. Won't be racing this evening. He's on holiday. Enjoy yourself in France, buddy. Alpha on 48 points. Wiggy on 40. Guy on 38, Kevin 77, 34, and I'm not going to read the whole list, but there you go. But it is Germany, which means double bubble points for the German cars. So Avalon, really solid chance at taking first place, significantly taking first place as well in this tournament. Very quick rundown of how the scoring works for everybody. So basically it's all European cars, no changes once you pick your car. That is your GR3 car for the tournament. Unless, of course, you picked the wrong car and you went for a European Mazda, as someone did a couple of races ago. He will remain nameless. He knows who he is. You can forfeit, or you can actually forfeit your place, your double points. But anyway, here we go. Race is about to start. Let's get rid of this then, so we can actually see what's going on. Oh, shit. There we go. Race is about to start. Is it going to let me jump out of the car? It is. And we are away. Simonis, good start from him. But Danish D also a good start, but he's going to have the inside line going into turn 1. Avalon Shadow in third place. He's got Timosius up the inside. He's got Wendigo looking around the outside. Guy having a look at Shady there. Shady, welcome to Black Flag. Hope you enjoy your time here. So Simonis in the lead in the McLaren, just ahead of Danish D at the moment. Danish D in the that's the Lexus. That is not a European car, my friend. It's the European GR3. So you will have to change your car, but we'll talk about that later. I'm surprised someone didn't point that out whole way through qualifying. Avalon Shadow, he is in the 911 RSI, double points for him today. Good evening, Jason. How you doing, Arminis? Wendigo, he is with his tribute to me on the side of his car. I love you, man. He's in fourth place at the moment in that McLaren, with Guy just behind him in the 911 as well. So looking good for the 911s at the moment. Dariukas is also new to the team. I'm assuming he's Lithuanian as well by the name. I'm sure I've seen him around before, but he's also in the 911 Porsche. Rollins, he's in the very beautiful, absolutely love that car. The McLaren, or love the livery on that car, that McLaren. Very good looking car. Tanas in the Porsche 911. Porsche very popular today, or very popular in this tournament. Timosius, he has used this AMG, loves this AMG, gets a good performance out of this AMG. Looking forward to seeing what he's got this evening. Audriox, there he is in the McLaren as well. Brian, welcome to BM Racing. How you doing, buddy? From Belgium. He is also running that AMG. So everybody except Danish D read the brief about European cars. Well done. Arminis has switched to the McLaren. He's asked to forfeit his double points, which you could have got here today for the Beetle, because the Beetle's not very good. We've allowed him to do that. He's forfeited his double points, which effectively rules him out of winning the championship. Wiggy, way back in 14th, in that Audi R8, the M&M Audi R8, under some pressure at the moment from Arminis in the McLaren. Very strange for Wiggy to be way back there. And there's Good Troopers in that 911. He's 5 seconds back. So they are the 15 runners today. Not much change in the order at the moment. Simonas pulling out in front. He is on the racing soft tyres. I think everyone pretty much has started on the softs. Started on half a tank of fuel. This is a 60-minute race here around the Nürburgring GP track. We will do an onboard very shortly. In fact, let's do the onboard now because we've got Simonas just coming around to start lap 3. Oh no, he's not. I was looking at the completely wrong part of the racetrack. He'll be doing it again, so we'll stay on board with him anyway. He's currently in the lead, 2.8 seconds clear, and we'll run down the order very soon. So Simonas at the moment, 2.9, 3 seconds almost ahead of Danish D, who for some reason is driving the European Lexus. But he will forfeit any opportunity at double points. But saying that, I think race 4 is not really going to be in the running for the tournament. But here we go. So, good exit there to start your lap. You cross the line around here to sit under the bridge. And you want to keep to this left-hand side. You go under the little gantry. And you're looking here for about the 100 metre board. This is where you're braking. And you want to turn in as late as you dare. Catching that apex. And then on that power up the hill. Quickly drifting to the right-hand side. Off the power again. Turning in. And it's a big left-hand turn. And on the power, and then again, just releasing the power on the brakes a little bit, turned in, and then again power. And you can really abuse the track limits here, way over the line without a penalty. Again, drifting to the right-hand side. You're looking for these cones on your right. This is your brake point. On the brakes, you don't have to brake hard, just get it turned in. Get back on the power. Again, braking, just trail braking round that big right-hander. Using all of that green on the left-hand side. Then you are back on that power, sticking to the left-hand side of the road. You're looking for the little patch here on your left. That's where your braking point is. Get the car turned in. Another big right-hander. Don't be too hasty to get on that power. You will fly off onto the grass. You're up the hill. Big left-hand turn here. You can take this flat out. And you've got the right-hand turn as well, which is still flat out. And then you are up the hill under the Gran Turismo gantry. You're looking for your brake point here. Little dab of brakes at the 50 metres. Get it turned in. Get back on that power. Again, little lift just to get round here. Brake if you dare. And then you're on the power for the fastest part of the course. This is where the penalty line is. If you get a penalty, it's going to really hurt you here. So you're on that power. You get round that little right-hand turn. It's not really a turn because you're flat out. You're braking now. Getting right down the gears into second gear through the chicane. Through the center S. Not the center S. Schumacher S. Then you are up. You want to take this nice and wide if you can because you want to get on the power early to complete a lap around the Nürburgring. And that is a very good lap. That is a 1:55.6. Great lap there from Simonas. So Simonas in the lead in the McLaren. 3.7 seconds clear of Danish D, who didn't read the instructions. Ready. European GR3, buddy. European. Last time I checked, the Lexus wasn't a European car. And I've not finished digging you out over this hour. I will dig you out every time I see you. No offence meant, but read, man, read. But his tyre's already looking pretty ropey. Wendigo, there he is. There's my buddy Wendigo in that McLaren. Doing really well at the minute, keeping Avalon behind him. Avalon was in 3rd place, just dropped back to 4th, but we know Avalon will be on a fuel-saving mission from the outset. He doesn't like pitting as early as everybody else. We're on lap 4, pit window opens on lap 5. Anywhere between lap 5 and lap 7. Lap 7 for the brave, lap 5 for the early pitters, lap 6 for the middle pitters, and lap 7 is for the very brave. Avalon Shadow, there he is, still got plenty of fuel on board. He may even hang this car out till lap 8. I'd be surprised if he does, but he may well do. Dariukas, there he is in that Porsche as well. He is 1.3 seconds behind Avalon at the moment. Running in the 150, low 157s. So a couple of seconds off the pace out front at the moment. But at the moment, looks comfortably in 5th. Guy 2 seconds behind, not closing that gap. He is 158.9. That's a pretty slow lap in comparison. And look at the state of those tyres. Guy might have to pit for tyres before he pits for fuel. So he's going to come in, I think. We might see Guy come in now, looking at the state of those tyres, if he can make it that far. Or is he brave enough to stay out? There's Rollies. Rollies in that McLaren, coming up behind Guy. And I imagine going around him very soon. Danius D into the pits. Wendigo into the pits. Shady into the pits as well. Everyone pitting very early on lap 4. So the big tyre wear here really telling its tale. And they're all coming in early doors. So that promotes Avalon Shadow into 2nd place. He's currently 10 seconds behind Simonas. Simonas absolutely dominating this track at the moment. But is his early pace going to cost him? Going out all guns blazing. He's going to come into the pits at the end of lap 5, which is when I suggest the pit window was open. Clearly it wasn't. It was open on lap 4 because people just weren't brave or safe on their tyres. So Simonas will come in the end of this lap. Avalon Shadow no doubt will go through. Tyres looking a little bit ropey, but I think he'll make it through and stay on the racetrack. Where's Wiggy? Because Wiggy is way down the order at the moment. He's behind BM Racing, Brian Moncarney. Oh yeah, I said that right. Brian Moncarney from Belgium in that AMG Mercedes. He is just behind Etanas. Etanas driving the Porsche, of course he is. 3.4 seconds behind them. He's just ahead of Wiggy. Wiggy puts some pressure on behind Brian Moncarney, BM Racing, and they both, I think, will be coming in at the end of this lap. If we look on board from Wiggy, is he going to look to make an overtake, or is he just going to hang it out there and go into the pits here, following Brian in, coming into the final sector? Tyres not looking great on that R8. He had the R8 initially, begged to switch, forfeited his double points to switch, and then switch back again. But it looks like today the R8 hasn't got the pace that we expected to see from Wiggy. But this is the whole fun of the game, isn't it? Testing new cars, trying new things, not driving the same car every time. And there we go. So there we go. They're both pulling into the pits. So everyone in Avalon in actually sooner than I expected. I thought he might stay out longer, but he's got in. Simonas in. Avalon in. Everybody's in. I think the only person at Arminis, he's coming into the pits now. I don't think there's anyone left that hasn't pitted already. There we go. Aldrox will be pitting from 11th. Shady has pitted. He's on the mandatory hard tyres. Timosius also on the racing hard. Wendigo also. Grizz Troopers also. But he's got that dreaded pit lane penalty. Absolutely disgusting. What a nightmare that is. And damage is on the cars today. It's heavy damage. We've also got car collision penalties on. So these guys need to keep it clean. And so far it has been very clean race. So everybody back out on track, bar one. Simona's still in the lead. That lead is 7.8 seconds from Danius D in the European Lexus. There he is, Avalon Shadow, just behind Danius D, 1.2 seconds behind. They are all running the racing hard, mandatory racing hard tyres. There is Avalon there in that Porsche 911. Dariukas also with that dreaded pit lane penalty, and he's got Guy, he's got Rollies, and he's got Shady, all within touching distance. These guys will all benefit from this penalty. The penalty line here is in an awful place for you. It's right in the middle of the fastest part of the circuit, where you are getting the hammer down and trying to get up that hill, and it really costs you, because not only are you slowed right down when everybody else is accelerating, but I think Guy's already going through before they even get to the penalty line. He was having a look, certainly. Couldn't make the move stick though. Just drops in behind. He knows he's going to take 4th place. And we'll go on board with Guy as we'll watch him fly past. Here we go. Danius D is looking here now. Oh, penalty there from Guy as well. That's going to benefit Rollins. That's also going to benefit Shady as we see them come around. They take this right-hander. big lock on that car. Here they go, up the hill. We'll watch. Dariuka slows down. We'll see Guy. Oh, I know Guy doesn't serve it this time around. So Guy is through. Shady is through. Rollins is through. Dariuka really loses out there. Drops down to 7th place. And he's already 2.4 seconds behind Shady. That is how devastating a 3-second penalty is. Right there. So he has lost somewhere in the region of 6 seconds on this lap. Etanas there. He is running the 911. He is there just behind, 2 seconds behind Dariukas. After Dariukas serves that penalty. BM Racing, Brian Moncani. There he is in 9th place. 3 seconds behind that battle for 7th between Etanas and Dariukas. He has got Tamosius just behind him. Looking to come and spoil his party. Very wide going through there, but far enough away from Tamosius for a move to be made. But that gap is getting smaller. Wendigo back in 10th place, 11th place actually. There he is, Wendigo. Had a great race actually on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday in the was it the GR4, wasn't it? I think we did. I can't remember. Whatever we did on Tuesday or Monday or whenever it was. When we were at Monza, we were the BFB, I think it was. We were at Monza. Really, really good race from him at Monza. I actually called him out. I thought he'd got his tactics wrong, but finished very, very well in the top 3. Was it really that long ago? It feels like it was only a couple of days ago. So surprised to see Wendigo back there. I'm sure we'll see him move up the order soon. He has got around Tamosius though, up into 10th place. There is Arminis in 12th. He is 7.5 seconds off that battle, with Wiggy 8.4 seconds behind him. Now, if you consider that he is the, I suppose, de facto reigning GR3 champion. Well, he was the GR3 champion when we all left en masse for Black Flag. So technically still the title holder. A lot of work to do to regain that crown. There's Audriox in 14th. 15 seconds back from Wiggy in 13th place. Having a full lobby really does change this up. He's got Grizz Troopers only 3 seconds behind him and closing in that 911. Just getting some liquid on board. So we look back out front. There is Simonas, 7.9 seconds, and there's just nothing behind him. Nothing in front. He's not lapping anybody just yet. There is nothing behind him. Bit of a lonely run for Simonas out there out front at the moment, but can anyone behind him make a difference? There's Dynasty. He can't even see Simonas out front there at the moment. But he can, through his mirrors, he can see Avalon Shadow. Only 1.3 seconds behind him. There he is, Avalon, trying to hunt him down. He's trying to conserve his fuel and hunt down Dynasty at the same time. Very similar on fuel and tyres. I think this will be a battle that will rage on through this race. With 15 minutes in, 1/4 into the race, we're on lap 8. Lap 8, 15 minutes in. That means we are on for a 32 lap race around this wonderful Nürburgring GP circuit. Absolutely phenomenal circuit this is. There is Shady up to 4th, running well, 7.9 behind Avalon. Can't see him there, but look behind him. Guy is really looking to have a go. Has Guy got anything in the tank to have a go here? Behind the, well, we say that, and the gap suddenly opens right out. So Shady getting that AMG dialed in, and off up the road, trying to chase down the top 3. The top 3 now pulling away quite considerably from the pack. So we have the sort of front runners. We've got Simonas, Dynasty, Avalon Shadow in their own little race. To be fair, Simonas at the moment is on his own. Then we've got a nice little package: Shady, Guy, Rollis, Dariukas, Etanas, Wendigo, Tamosius, and BM Racing, Brian Moncani, all vying for from 4th to 11th place at the moment. I mean, look at that shot as they're coming down the hill. That is really, really close racing. Look, you can just see them one after the other coming down the hill, almost in a line. Is Brian making a move on Tamosius into turn 1? He certainly looks close enough, and it's AMG versus AMG. Is the power in Tamosius just enough to stay ahead? Brian takes a very wide line round this turn 1. It's an interesting line actually, but it seems to slow him down. It's a wider line than I expect. Then we're looking at the next lot. We've got Arminis there, as we just see him going wide in that McLaren, with Wiggy 7 seconds behind him. So despite that half-second penalty, we're not going to see any challenge this lap. So Wiggy in a bit of no man's land. There he is in between Arminis and Audriox. He's in the Lithuanian sandwich. There he is in 13th. And in that Lithuanian sandwich today is a big packet of M&Ms, with the M&M sponsor all over that Audi R8, which is a beautiful looking car but drives like a bag of shit. There is Audriox in the McLaren. So it's McLaren, Audi McLaren. Remember, all the German cars are double bubble points today. So Avalon Shadow, as it stands, will blast into the lead of this tournament come round 4 with and that's the halfway point. Remember, round 4 is the halfway point of this European GR3 Open. There's only 4 races after this. There is Grizz Troopers in 15th place. He's only 1.2 behind Audriox, looking to have a bit of a race himself at the back of the pack. Did all right yesterday, didn't finish last in the GRB yesterday. I'd recommend watching it, but please don't. It's really boring. Watch the first 10 laps and then stop watching it, because pretty much after that nothing happens, apart from some people crashing into some walls, but they do about 1,000,000 laps around that course, so don't watch it, don't waste your time. Simona said let's do it on board with Simona, see how quick he gets round this lap, while I talk to you about the rest of this GR3 tournament. So as I said, we are on race number 4 at the Nürburgring GP. So BMW, Mercedes, AMG, Porsche, VW, Audi, all getting double bubble points today. Next week we're at one of the greatest racetracks in the history of racing. We're at Spa in Belgium. No Belgian cars, so obviously no double bubble points there. We then move on, week 6, move on to St. Croix C. But no one, I think, at the moment is driving a French car, so we won't see any double bubble points there. Then week 7 we're at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and we finish week 8 with a blast around the Deep Forest Raceway in Switzerland. So still loads of racing in this tournament to go, in this series to go. But Simonas at the moment absolutely dominant out front, 8.5 seconds clear. There is literally no one on the racetrack around him. There's Dana D, who didn't read the brief. That's not a European car, I hear you cry. That's correct, it's not a European car. Dana D got in a Japanese car for a European tournament. Sorry, man, can't help it. Avalon in 3rd. He's driving a European car. That's a German car, that's a Porsche. That's the Porsche 911. And he is currently only 1.4 seconds behind 2nd place, and running comfortably as well. Certainly looking after his fuel well, looking after his tyres well. Certainly better than the tyres on that Lexus, that European Lexus. So Avalon Shadow playing the long game here after his first pit stop. Everyone running the mandatory hard tyre. Shady up to 4th in the AMG. He's got Guy under a second behind him. This gap for this midfield battle opening up a little bit. Shady at the head of it at the moment. Oh, Shady and Guy kind of pulling away. We've got Rodders there in that 911, not the 911, he's in the McLaren. In that McLaren, 3.5 seconds behind. Finds himself in a little bit of no man's land at the moment. He's not quite tacking onto the back of Guy, but he is keeping a gap from Dariukas. Dariukas also in the Porsche 911, under significant pressure from this man in another Porsche, from Etanas. Etanas in the Porsche is only half a second behind. And let's watch this battle from the car of Wendigo, because this battle at the moment is raging on. And we see, there we see Dariukas pulling round that corner. He's got Etanas right in behind that slipstream. Wendigo also getting some slipstream off the back of that battle. But he will quite happily want to see these two have a little coming together. That will benefit him greatly if these two do not keep it clean. But it's going to be hurting Dariukas' tyres. He's having to defend those lines rather than pick the part of the racetrack he wants. He's got to defend. And that is pushing Etanas back into the clutches of Wendigo. Can Wendigo capitalise on this battle and nick a place or two. He's certainly a lot closer. There certainly is an opportunity here. We look behind. There's Tamosius. He's 2 seconds back. Not able to close up on the battle just yet. Etanas looking up the inside. It is a straight drag race up the hill. Dariukas just has the inside line. Has the edge. They all break. And Dariukas lives to fight another lap. But Etanas with a great exit. He now has the inside line. As you see Wendigo pulling into the pits. Etanas absolute smashing overtake. Went a bit wide. Is he going to lose out here? It is a drag race down the line. Dariukas retakes the place from Etanas. They are side by side going into turn 1. Trying to pull across that. It wasn't quite trying to pull across there. He's gone very wide. That's going to let Etanas up on the inside. Is he going to be able to make it? He's not. He stays just behind. Didn't capitalise on that on Dariukas. Trying to go really, really narrow into that turn 1. But this battle rages on. Half a second behind. Who gets a better exit here? They're both pretty quick off that line. Dariukas using a lot more road than Etanas. Etanas just dropping in behind, dropping off that pace a little bit. It's hurting both their tyres battling this way. But at the moment, the one suffering is Etanas. Tamosius watching the battle ahead of him. He's seen Wendigo jump into the pits very, very early. For me, the next pit window is not until about lap 14, lap 15. We are looking about 10 laps on a full tank of fuel around here with these particular settings. So Tamosius watching the battle ahead. Is Etanas going to make another move here? It's all about exit speed. And if we look at Etanas' lap times, they're a lot better than that of Dariukas. He's kind of stuck behind him because Dariukas is putting the car in all the right places. But Etanas is so much quicker. Can he find a gap? Can he force a mistake? He's dropped off a little bit. His tyres aren't as fresh as those of Dariukas. And he finds himself dropping out of that slipstream. So Dariukas will again go on as Danius D jumps into the pits. Again, another early pit stop. I call that karma for driving a Japanese car in a European race. There we go. So Simonis has opened his gap. Oh, he hasn't really opened up. Danius D jumps in. 12 seconds to Avalon Shadow. Avalon Shadow in the Porsche. He's got, for me, I don't think he's going to pit until somewhere around lap 16. He's held out quite well in that car, to be fair. In fact, I would have to guess, I'm going to say lap 17 before we see Avalon Shadow in those pits again. Simonis will he stay out longer? How good is he at fuel saving? He had a bit more fuel on board. Has he dropped off his little point? He hasn't. I thought he might have dropped off the pace a bit, but 59, and he's dropping those lap times quite well. Fastest lap though, a 1:54.8. The race pace not anywhere near that. So everyone conserving fuel a little bit. They know that the pit stop's long and arduous here. We looked at Avalon, he's second, 9.6 seconds ahead of Guy. Guy has opened up a big gap now, 4.8 seconds from the rest of that chasing back, particularly Rollins. So it was a bit of a train, a bit of a slipstream train. A few laps ago, it was lap 10, lap 11, a little train from 4th all the way back to 11th, with Shades at the head of it. But he's now got in the pits. Dariukas in 5th place. He survived the onslaught of Etanas, which still continues, and they've still got a couple of laps to keep going, depending, of course, on Etanas and his tyres. Tamosius again looking at this battle ahead. He will be coming into the pits this time round, which will see BM Racing, Brian Moncardi. He will move up the order into 7th place. Danius D pitted from 2nd. Finds himself in 9th at the moment in the European Lexus. Armin is 11 seconds behind there. Couple of laps before we see him go in. He's one of the later pitters. Shady's had his 2nd pit stop in the AMG. Back in 11th. So he was leading the train from 4th to 11th. He is now at the back of that train. But pretty much every car in front of him has to come in. Wendigo in 12th place. Dropped down the order a little bit, which means we are probably looking at a 4-stop strategy here for the majority. I say that because a lot of these are going in very early. They've already picked twice in the first 30 minutes. Now, Timosius, he's come back out on the softs with a full tank of fuel. Now we know that those soft tyres don't last half a tank. So to me it seems counterproductive to weigh your car down so heavily if you're planning on having a race. So I think we're going to see Timosius jumping into pits again very soon. Now, a couple of weeks ago we actually saw Timosius pit a lot in this GR3. So pit strategy, something I think this guy needs to work on, because he can be quick. We've certainly seen some pace out of him. Wiggy, he has plenty on board. He's also opted for the soft tyres, but again, over-fueled for the tyres, I feel. The tyres aren't holding out that long. But there we go. Audiox in 14th place. Grid Troopers in the pits. And we see Simone's just coming round to lap. So he is the first. That's the first lapping of the race. I mean, technically, I know Grid Troopers was, but he was in the pits. So it doesn't really count if you're not lapping them on the road for me. As we see Guy from third into the pits. So Simonis, 20.4 seconds clear now at the head of the pack, with Avalon Shadow 20 seconds back from that, 6 seconds clear of Rollis. So everybody in that kind of midfield train getting a shot in the top three. But how long will they last? Because Dariukas, is already back up to 4th place. Avalon Shadow, will he come in this lap? Will he give it one more with full beans? For me, I think he's going to come in the end of this lap. It looks to me like he's starting to push. He had 2 really bad laps, a 2:01 and a 2:03. That will have cost him. He would have wanted to put in a much, much quicker representative time coming up behind Dariukas, who was in second. But there is Rollis. Rollis may stay out. It depends on how much he wants to fuel save. He's very, very consistent in the 59, mid-59s he's running in that beautiful, beautiful McLaren. There's Dariukas in the Porsche 911. And sorry, it was Danius D that was in second. I completely got two of them mixed up. Danius D still back in 8th place. So Dariukas, he will be pitting one more lap after this. So lap 16. I said to pit when I would have lap 15. A few in early, but pretty much lap 15 seems to be the order of the day. Brian Moncardi up to 5th. He'll pit at the end of this lap. As we see Simonas goes in. Avalon Shadow, we'll watch him. I think we'll see him stay out. We'll see what surprises he's got. Guy loses it a little bit there, but does manage to drag it back on the road. He has already pit and comes back out in 6th place. Both Brian Moncardi and Dariukas 25 and Rollis in front of him and Avalon Shadow all still need to pit. So actually Dariukas, so Guy is in a very, very good position, ahead of Danius D, who was an early front runner in 2nd place in that European Lexus. So we see all of the front three in. Rollis in, Dariukas in, Brian Moncardi in. Will that promote Guy to the lead of this race, or is Simonas out in front already? I think Simonas is already out. Simonas is out, so Guy will take 2nd place in this race. So really, really good long game. And all these different strategies really started to mix things up a bit. Because Rockers, why you didn't sign up to race, buddy? What's occurring? I think you've disappeared from our Discord, man. Why are you not racing no more? But there we go. Guy up into 2nd place. He's got Shady 5 seconds back behind him. Shady has gone for the mediums. He pitted really early. We're going to see him jumping in a lot sooner than I think most would like. Avalon Shadow picks up that dodgy pit lane penalty. He came out very well in 4th place. So once we factor in pit stops and everything else, he's actually done a really, really good overcut and got himself up the order. But that's all going to be undone with this 3-second penalty. And a little, just as we jump off of him, a little slide from the back end of that Porsche, just where he's pushing those hard tyres, trying to get some grip out of those brand new hards. He's going to lose out to Danius D. So all that good work to jump him in the pit stop window, He's going to be undone now, but Dennis D is on those mediums. He will not run for very long. He'll be back in the pits somewhere around that 21 or lap 22. Apologise for that. Avalon will stay out for some time, actually. I don't think we'll see him until 26, 27, maybe even lap 28. But here he goes. He's going to serve that penalty. Here we go, Dennis D, straight through. What about Rollins? Well, Rollins has got Wendigo to worry about, because Wendigo round Rollins. So did he also have a penalty? But he gets around Avalon all into this turn. Do they go through safely? Avalon Shadow just nicking it there from Rollins. Rollins backing out, which I think was sensible, though he did have track position for me. But there we go. So massive change there. That 3-second penalty cost Avalon 4 places. Dana's D goes through. When Digo makes a move on Rollins, and Timosius goes through as well. Rollins just has to slot in behind Avalon. Avalon gains one of those places in the next turn. As you see, Atanas looking to make a move on Rollins. Came in hot, almost caught him. Really close. Is there a move on here? Is he going to take it on the inside? He easily breezes past him. Is there a problem here for Rollins? Rollins seems to be struggling with those tyres, looking to do the little flip-flap undercut. Doesn't work. Dropping him off and not getting any performance out of those tyres straight out of the pits. He's on his first lap out of the pits on those tyres, so hasn't got them rubbered in properly yet. Dariukas has now been in. He is back in 10th place, 3.6 seconds in ahead of Wiggy, but 6 seconds back from that 4-5 way battle ahead. Wiggy in a bit of no man's land. He's got Dariukas one side. He's got BM Racing Brian Moncarney. He is 7 seconds back in 12th place at the moment, with Arminis 13 seconds off the pace here. So Arminis not getting that McLaren dialed in today at all. Bit of a shame. We're used to seeing a bit more pace from this boy. Audriox 26 seconds back. So today the McLaren is not being kind to Audriox, and he is in 14th place. It's currently 17 seconds clear of Grizz Troopers, but Grizz Troopers with more fuel on board and running those hard tyres may be able to run a little bit longer. Fastest lap is currently with Simonas with a 1:54.8. There he is in the lead, currently lapping around the 1:57s, mid 1:58s. Not pushing too hard. He's 13 seconds clear. Doesn't have to worry too much. It's all about race management at this stage. There is Guy. Guy went racing. Very racy. And he's taken a lot out of those soft tyres. He will be coming in, I hazard a guess, before lap 20 to do something about those tyres. Shady 10 seconds back. He's going to have to do something about those tyres as well. They are gone. There is not much rubber left on those. But so there we go, 8 seconds back. Dana's D, he's taken some out of those medium tyres as well. So these medium tyres aren't holding out that well. Now, you have to ask, is the little bit extra grip you get over the hard tyres worth the massive loss in tyre longevity? Because they're only lasting maybe a lap or two longer than the softs, but you're not getting significant. I don't think you're getting significantly enough grip over the hard tyres to justify such a drop in performance. I think if you're going to go for the soft tyres, you might as well go for softs and have a little short, very racy, very grippy stint. But the mediums are being run, and as long as they're running all the compounds and getting them out of the way, there we go. Wendigo, also on the mediums, he's going to need to come in very soon. So actually, if we look at Timosius, he's also going to struggle. Avalon Shadow, currently sitting in 7th, he's looking very pretty for a return to the top 3. So as I said, as these different strategies play out through the race, things change. At Tanas, all day long this boy has been looking to go racing, looking to overtake, and not been able to make the overtakes he wants. It is a difficult track to overtake on. There's only a few corners where it's possible, and you need to be closer, but he is close here. Can he go up the inside? Is Avalon going to defend? Etanas doesn't go for the... For me, I think you've got to go for it. But I think he's looking at his tyres and he knows he hasn't got the grip to make a bold late braking move at the moment. But he is very close. This is a very bold move up the inside. Don't know he's going to get the grip out. He does though. He gets that move and he gets the rubber down and pulls away. So really good job there from Etanas in 7th place. Moving up the order as we see, 6th place. As we see, Rolly's now going to close down on Avalon Shadow. Rolly's is now 2.6 seconds back from that battle we've just been watching. With Dariukas 4.3 seconds behind, 3.3 seconds behind him, with some work to do. So Rolly's doesn't have to worry about what's behind because he can start looking at what's in front. And he's not going to worry about tyres and fuel at the moment. He can go for a pretty long stint. Brian Moncardi, there he is, 12 seconds back. The only thing he's got to worry about is how quick is Timosius behind him. And the only thing Timosius has got to worry about is whether he can look after his tyres. He has been in the pits again. He is the pit master. He loves it in the pits. This boy goes in there a lot. He is 3 seconds back from Brian Moncardi. He's got a lot of fuel on board. He's got those racing soft tyres. This could be a big, big battle coming up shortly. Armin is 12 seconds back. No chance of catching Timosius. Not on that pace today. Wiggy, good pace, but not consistent. It seems to me that he can dial in decent. I mean, decent at 156.9 there, 157. That's front runner pace. But front runner pace in the Audi R8 isn't an indication of anything because this car is as unpredictable as an angry badger. You just don't know what it's going to do. 1 minute it will take you around a corner, gliding at the like an eel soaring from the sky, and the next it will just spin you around and throw you into a wall like an abusive husband. He is now closing down on the back of Arminis. Half a second back, there is a yellow flag up ahead. Who is that for? Timosius is going very slowly. Why is he going slowly? We didn't get to see what happened, but that was why we had a yellow flag. So that gap, so Timosius not going to close on Brian Moncardi. Has a penalty. Oh, sorry, that's Arminis has a penalty. But the gap is down to 5.4 seconds. So Arminis now closing that gap on Timosius. Wiggy also closing up. All jobs 25 seconds back. And Grizz Troopers, Pez Pitt again, is about to be lapped and is 53 seconds back. And 2 minutes 30 seconds back from the leader of this race. And there is the leader. He has led from pole position all the way through, bar the first pit stop. Absolutely dominant around here. You would think that he lived here with how well he's doing. 17 seconds clear. Not ever looked in danger, to be fair. We are 20 minutes from the end of this race. We are 2/3 in. Excuse me. There we go. So there is Guy. Which way is Guy going? Guy going. That's going to be a pit lane penalty there. Look at the state of those tyres. Those tyres, you will not get any refund on those, my friend. There is no rubber left. Absolutely none. It is just rims, and in comes Guy with just rims to show for his race tyres. Shady also in, Wendigo also in, Danish D also in, and I said it, didn't I? Here comes Avalon Shadow. He's into the top 3. We'll see him now pull into the top 2 as he crosses the pit line here. He is 47 seconds back from Simonas. Simonas absolutely dominating this race. Rollis, he comes through. He probably going to have to pit again. Well, there's no probably about it. He will have to pit again. He is currently in 3rd, 4.7 behind Avalon. Dariukas, 1.5 back from there. He will have to pit in again as well. There is Guy with that 3-second penalty, who took those rims back, and he's in a Ferrari. Why did I think he was in a different car? No, he's not. He's in a Porsche. He's in a Porsche with a Ferrari badge on the back. Just to mess with me. That's why he's doing it. He's doing it to mess with my head. He is in a Porsche. It is a Porsche. Absolutely a Porsche. He is 2.8 seconds back. Won't go to the end like this. He has gone for a very, very racy stint. and racy he must be, because that's a 3-second penalty. Can Shady close up enough? He won't be close enough to see that penalty on the top of Guy's car, but if he can just close that gap a little bit, he can guarantee taking 5th place from Guy. Guy, remember, had a really good stint last time out and found himself up in the dizzy heights of 2nd. So we're going to see him now. He's closing up on Dariukas, and Dariukas just in front of him, but that's not going to mean a thing, because here he goes. He hits his penalty line, and this is agonising as your car slows right down to 50 mile an hour. And there's Shady. He wasn't close enough this time to capitalise, but look at the difference in the gap, and it's still closing, and that gap is way down now, 1.7 seconds. Danish D closing as well on Shady. Is he closing enough? Pace-wise, certainly very similar. Can he just up that pace a little bit and close that gap? Wendigo, he is going racy as well, currently sitting in 8th place. Pace again very similar to these guys. BM Racing, there he is in that AMG, 1.3 behind Wendigo at the moment. We haven't seen that many overtakes today, and we've seen a couple of attempts, and we'll have a look at this man actually, Etanas. He is the man that has been just stuck behind car after car and been looking for any kind of opportunity to jump in, a little gap, anything to get past, and just hasn't been able to make any move stick despite being quicker than those cars in front. Last lap though wasn't good, 2:06.3. That sees him 3 seconds behind Timosius. He has Wiggy 6 seconds behind him, but if Wiggy continues putting in laps like that, and Etanas keeps putting in laps like he did, that gap is going to get very small very quickly. Armin is still back in 13th place. That McLaren not working out for him. Audriox also in the McLaren. It just goes to show, if we look at race number 1 at Goodwood, and we had a few problems with Goodwood being such a buggy track, but the McLaren's very strong performance there. But here, not so great. So it is all about different tracks for different cars. There's Grid Troopers 39 seconds back. Has been lapped now by everyone up to 7th place. So there is our race leader. Well, he's got a free pit stop. Absolutely got a free pit stop. When will he take it? I have a feeling he will let these tyres go off. I mean, he can risk staying out and slowing his pace right down. I mean, look at the state of those tyres. He's still chucking out 156. But he could slow his pace right down. He's got a pit stop in a bit, and try and make that last pit stop, take him to the end. Avalon will have to come in again. He's on those hard tyres at the moment. Avalon will hang this out as long as he possibly can and go for a very racy stint at the end on the soft tyres. Currently sitting 2nd, and I think comfortably so, because Rollis has to pit. He's 2.1 seconds back. He's got a Dariukas 2.1 behind him, but he's got Guy looking to make a move. Is this the overtake we've been craving? The little switch back to the inside, can't make the move there. Dariukas doesn't leave a gap, but he does on the exit. Leaves a gap for Guy. Guy gets on the power. They are drag racing down to this next right-hander. Dariukas on the outside. Guy under braking on the inside into the corner, makes it look very easy. And up Guy goes into 4th place. Dariukas can only watch as Guy starts to pull away as well. Just shows the difference in grip between those soft and the hard tyres. Both still need to pit though. Danish D ran 2nd for a long time in that European Lexus. The clearly non-European car. He is 2.4 seconds back. He's just put in a personal best sector. 1:55.7 his fastest lap, which was his last lap. So that's a lot closer to the time of Simonas. Although I don't think anybody else has gone sub 1:55 at this stage. He's 2.5 seconds back from Dariukas. Will run a little bit longer though. There's Shady. Was in the top 4 at one stage. Finds himself down in 7th place. He's on those mediums. He's got one stop left to do. But doing a good job in that midfield with that AMG Mercedes. 1.2 behind Dennis D. Real good opportunity as well to nick a place or two here in terms of his pace. Wendigo has been, it seems like he's been 8th, 9th and 10th for this whole race, even throughout the pit stops. He's on the soft tyres looking to go racy. He's put in a 56.5 his last lap. That was his quickest lap of the race. So the pace is starting to increase as we move towards the final stages of the European Open here at the Nürburgring GP. BM Racing, there he is 7.4 seconds behind Wendigo. But he is under pressure from who? The man who's been looking to overtake all day, Etanas. He gets in behind you and just wants to make that move. Now, has he got the tyres this time out? Well, he's got the soft tyres. Is he going to make them count? BM Racing just doing the right thing, keeping very, very tight to that apex, not leaving any space to get through. But defending hurts your fuel. It hurts your tyres. There is a gap there, but not quite big enough for Etanas to put it through. Drag race here, but he's not going to have the line. So he's doing the right thing actually, Etanas. Instead of making that lunge, he's just sitting in behind. He's getting a bit of slipstream, saving a bit of fuel, and waiting for the guy ahead to make a mistake or leave him a little gap. And we'll see him close up here now as we go into this straight. He's got a bit of slipstream. He's getting a wonderful exit. That is a very good exit out there. He is tucked in behind Brian Montcarney. There is a real opportunity if he can just get the power down. But that AMG is so good in a straight line. Very difficult. And we've got a yellow flag. What's going on up ahead? Don't see what's happening. So whatever happened is now repaired. So whoever crashed is no longer crashing. So Etanas has to drop back, and Brian Montcarney lives to fight another lap. Tomosius in with a half-second penalty. He's the first to blink for the last stop. Wiggy goes through. He's going to do one more lap. He's going to stop at the end of lap 25. Remember, what we say, 32 laps this race. So he's going to go for a very racy final stint on the softs. Nobody else jumping in the pits just yet. Armin is staying out by the looks of things. He is staying out. He is 27 seconds back from Tomosius. Tomosius will come out of pits. Or will he? He's just coming out now. Where's Arminis? This is going to be side by side into Torres. I over-dramatise that a little bit because it looked like actually Tomosius came out miles ahead. But he does have a penalty, and that could be a factor when we come to Sector 3. For some reason, the race has finished again on 50 minutes when it's a 60-minute race. But there we go. So 50 minutes the race finishes at, and there is Simonas in first place. Very, very frustrating that we keep doing it. Actually, I think I might have got this wrong. Let me just check. Because if I got it wrong, I apologise. Because I thought it should be a 60-minute race. I know it is my fault. It was a 50-minute race. So I've been calling this all wrong the whole time. I apologise. So actually, pretty much everyone's going to run to the end. So that pit stop was actually a really, really costly error. So Simonas wins, 59 seconds clear of Guy in second place, with Denius D in third position. Avalon Shadow can't do better than fourth. The guys in front didn't need to pit. He goes on the gravel. What is he playing at? He has got Rolles going through now. Rolles through. Wendigo through. Avalon chopping down the order, going across the line backwards. I don't think he realises just how many points he has cost himself. That is a massive, massive, massive mistake he's made there. 3 places he's lost. That is a lot of points. When it's double bubble points as well, really, really costly. It does put him in the lead of this tournament, but not comfortably anymore. So there's your final order. Simonas from Guy, from Denius D, from Shady, from Rolles, Wendigo, Avalon Shadow, Dariukas, Brian Montcarney, Etanas, Wiggy. Tomosius crosses the line. Audiok's already finished, just waiting for Armanis to finish. He spins across like an absolute nut job. And that, as they say, is the end of it. Simonas, the absolute dominant No other word for it. Absolutely dominated that race from start to finish. Was uncatchable. But you have to say the mistake of the match goes to, without question, goes to Avalon. 4th place, goes for a little flourish across the line, doesn't make it work, ends up losing 3 places to finish in 7th. So that is going to cost him a lot of points. A lot of points. Well, it's going to cost him. Well, it's cost him 12 points, just finishing because of the double bubble. He lost 6 for that position, and he's lost another 6 because he would have got double points. So that's 12 points he's cost himself just by trying to show off across the line. So lesson learned there for anybody who wants to show off at the end of a race. So there we go. So we are at the end of the European GR3 already. That is halfway through the tournament. We have 4 races left to go. Tomorrow evening is the same car championship in the Renault Megane Trophy. Depending on numbers, you might see me tomorrow. It depends. If we've got a lot of races, I will stream it. If it's not so many, and I'm not, well, to be fair, it depends how I feel after work as well. But that is it, as they say. So I don't know what else we can do, really. That, as they say, is that. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please click that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, click the subscribe button.